Nate, what the heck is this?
Okay, this is a power supply, and we turn it around. This is our main 110 to a 120 input, which is your AC current from the wall, and this is, or if you this red switch converts it to European current, which is like 240.
Yep.
So if you want to switch it, if you're in Europe for some reason, you can switch it, and you get either way.
Yeah. So that lets them sell the computers with one power supply, and it can be used in any continent.
They're kind of universal.
Okay.
And so the basic point of the power supply is to convert your 110 AC current into DC current, which is direct current, for the computer's workings, which are all direct current.
Oh, got a lot of wires coming out of this thing.
So these are the inputs that, well, the outputs that give power to all your, like your disk drive or your floppy disk or any of those. And the yellow gives you 12 volts, and the red gives you 5, with the black being your ground.
Okay.
And this little guy just plugs into your floppy for extra power.
And then there's a different fitting for SATA, but actually that would probably come off of the motherboard, huh?
Yeah. And so, and this big guy right here is your he gives power to your motherboard, all the things you'd want to work on.
So that,
and it also it also gives power to your power switch. So the switch is in the front, but if you turn to the back and use this switch, which is right here, it will disable the power to everything because you're taking the power off of your 110.
Okay. So when you flip that switch in the back on this power supply, it makes it so that the front power switch just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what those do. And if we open the power supply, you'll see all these cooling sinks, which take all the heat away from the board so that nothing overheats, and then the fan will blow the heat off of these cooling prongs out away from the computer. And we find lots of reducers and everything that makes it work pretty much.
So we got in there, we get some resistors and some capacitors and integrated circuits and transformers and a bunch of stuff like that. Most people are never going to see the inside of a power supply though, right?
Right.
If it's done, you toss it, I guess.
Nothing really typically goes wrong, hopefully.
Well, if it's done, it's done. All right. And great. Now, what kind of stuff have you learned about the power supply while finding this out?
Well, I learned if you flip the power supply over, there's a chart here, and it'll show you all the things you could want to know. Like, it'll tell you all these wires, what the voltages are, and so like it tells you blue is 12 volts or 3 amps, and that's telling you how many volts you need to power whatever you're plugging it into. So
on the motherboard or on the devices, it wants certain colored wires with certain voltages inside those wires going to certain places.
Yeah. Okay. So you need to make sure. So it tells you what colors need to go where.
Okay. And very neat. And how'd you find out some of this information?
For most questions, I just went to Google and Googled power supply or how the computer power supply works and click on whatever links look good.
All right, cool. Thanks a bunch, Nate.
Yep.